homeschool. The biggest thing I hear, especially about homeschooling, is because for religious reasons or XYZ, generally it tends to go more for religious reasons. I am a Christian. I don't hide that fact, but I don't homeschool my kids for religious reasons. One of my children has ADD, the other one has ADHD. I tailor their curriculum to be more hands-on. Just to give you an idea, I have a third grader. His school total time takes an hour. Fourth grader takes an hour and 30 minutes only because I have to wrangle the kid. And I spread it out. They do 4 subjects on their own now. Their writing, their math, their language, and their spelling. I will pick the concept that they do their math in, and I spend 10 minutes max explaining the new concept, giving them examples. I have little whiteboards that I use. Same with language, 10 minutes max. They read a story to me from their books every day. Right now it's different because they're sick. We're all sick. We just come down with it and that sort of thing. If it's a concept in math they don't understand, I generally try to have a tactile version, numbers they can move around, write in, scribble in, that sort of thing. I homeschool because I know that in a traditional classroom their needs can't be met, and the teacher would try their best. But when you have 30 and 35 and you have a hyperactive kid that's a good kid, not a troublemaker but just can't sit, you're going to have to focus on the kids that you can reach, that you can get to. And that's why I homeschool. And then you may say, okay, well, I've heard about all these curriculums. Which way do I go? Which one do I choose? Honestly, it's up to you. Some curriculums are free and they're excellent. Some curriculums you pay for and they're excellent. Some curriculums are free and they're ridiculous. And some curriculums are very expensive, and honestly, the third grade could be done by a kindergartner. They've dumbed it down so much. It really comes to, what do you want for your children? You as the parent should be the one leading, should be the one guiding them through this. There is going to be work involved. I mean, anything worth doing is worth doing right and should take your time and some preparation. I was homeschooled all the way through. Colleges with scholarships, both secular and non-secular. So for those of you that are like, well, my child's just going to a Christian college like Bob Jones University or Pensacola Christian College or Maranatha Christian College. Well, that's great. You don't really have to worry too much for those colleges. But then I went to Grace University, which it's closed down now, but even though it was considered Christian, it actually met everything for accreditation. It was a secular school. I went to Creighton University. I went to Metropolitan Community College, and the SAT and the ACTs I had prepared me for that. I was very diligent. So if you're worried about real life applications, real world applications through your homeschooler, I did that. I was able to do that. Now granted, I got a job at 16. By the time I was 18, I was working a full-time job and going to school full-time as a high schooler. And then I went to college and I worked a full-time job there. And it can be done. A community college nearby, when my boys are 16, 17, I'm going to enroll them in that. Dual enrollment is called. They do it with local high schoolers, and they also do it with homeschoolers. I checked my state. Each state is different. Each community college or college will be different to what classes they allow. And I'm going to encourage them to go into a trade and see what they can do there. A trade doesn't require more than a high school diploma. That's kind of in the future. But why I homeschool is to keep them safe from predators. There are too many sexual predators that are the same age as them. Older teachers, other students. And the highest percentage of sexual predation happens by people that you know, that you're familiar with, family members as well. So I keep them home because of that. I keep them home because the classroom setting is built for the learning of women and some boys that can sit still. It is not tailored to boys, and I have boys. So I'm giving them their best learning environment as boys to succeed. That's why I homeschool. The curriculum I use can be expensive. I paid $1,000 for their curriculum this year, both third and fourth grade. I keep the teacher books, or like the history and the science and the health books that you don't mark up in. I do buy all the quizzes and the tests. I like to have proof, if they ever demand it, that my children are being assessed and they can pass those assessments. Just coming from a teaching background in the system, I think it's very good to have that. Right now we can freely homeschool. Who knows if there'll be more regulations and things, and I have all that as backup and proof that my children are getting an actual education. One child is going to be 10, and at 10 I'm going to guide him into hobbies, and we're going to see what his interests are there, and the core subjects are going to remain the same, but I'm going to encourage him in his hobbies.